He said precisely, Jake, what the President of the United States wanted to hear: no collusion.
If this isn't obstruction of justice, I'd like to see what is obstruction of justice. I mean, it was an extraordinary political commercial for the president. What's significant about the 10 incidents is that there are 10 of them. You know, happy people don't obstruct justice. You know who else was concerned about leaks? Richard Nixon.
I took that as, these are my crib notes, don't read the book. That's what the Attorney General was just trying to do.
Can I just talk about this issue of the president's concerns about leaks? You know who else was concerned about leaks? Richard Nixon. And he set up a group called the Plumbers. Get it? Plumbers, leaks. The most extraordinary paragraph of the Attorney General's statement is, you know, the sort of woe is me problem that the president, you know, there were leaks and there were people around him. He was frustrated, and that's evidence of guilt. It's not evidence of innocence. You know, happy people don't obstruct justice.
This is the sense. The president.
That can be a reason to obstruct, frankly. The idea, if you are frustrated, if you're overwhelmed, if you're sensitive, you think there's a cloud over your presidency, that can also lead to you making decisions that perhaps a more sane, resolved person would not make. It doesn't simply inoculate you because you have feelings about the issue. That's the part that I think is most interesting. And by the way, of course it's not going to be beneficial. They were already given their report in advance, and there was a rebuttal. Happy people don't issue a rebuttal report to tell you how happy they are. We know it's coming.
Do you know who else the president shared those frustrations with? The Russian ambassador in the Oval Office.
There is no evidence that Mueller could find. Mueller, a highly respected investigator and law enforcement official, he could not find sufficient evidence that there was conspiracy by any American knowingly or by any member of the Trump team. That's great news. But Barr repeating it over and over and over again, 6 or 7 times, I mean, that's a little excessive, even in Washington, D.C., where people stay on message like it's a mantra.
It was excessive and suspicious to be pounding the table and pounding it over the American people's head, particularly if the looming question for many is, okay, if that was the case, then why were there so many lies told after the fact? But also, with the first 10 minutes of his entire discussion, I thought to myself, didn't the president at first once ask, where's my Roy Cohn? Oh, well, I guess he may have found him today because he should be pleased with the person who now serves at his pleasure. Because this person spent an inordinate amount of time talking about, the Oprah moment of the feelings of the president of the United States. You've got to be kidding me.
If this isn't obstruction of justice, I'd like to see what is obstruction of justice. Because, the scale and the number of episodes in the way that the president tried to stop this investigation without stopping it, and that needs to be pointed out, is just extraordinary. And you want to talk about motive. The part that Pamela just quoted, he's sitting there looking at an investigation where he says, this is the end of my presidency. So he spends the next year trying to interfere with that investigation so his presidency doesn't end. That's as clear an indication of motive as I can determine.